So ego death is a complete loss of subjective self-identity. The term is used in various intertwined contexts with related meanings. The synonymous term psychic death is used, which refers to a fundamental transformation of the psyche. In death and rebirth mythology, ego death is a phase of self-surrender and transition. So ego death is a complete death of everything that you think that you are. Your personality, your perception on life, everything. Ego death is the complete death of you, yourself as a person. Some people also might call it, is it called it's called dis something, where you like completely like don't even recognize yourself anymore. Dysphoria, I'm pretty sure is the word. A lot of people use it inside the server, but I forget about it. You guys know what I'm talking about though. Like not really recognizing yourself, but this is like to a different level where you just completely kill off yourself that is yourself. Of course, not actually kill off though. Alright. I was studying some text the other day and came across the term God's ego death. I was wondering if anyone had any information or links pertaining to it, as I couldn't find anything on the surface web. I'm really interested in finding out what it is. The ego being a 20th century concept usually misinterpreted as the self by modern would-be gurus. I'd be curious in what text you found this notion in. Comments important to read? Yeah, for real. Dissociation, that's what I was looking for. Appreciate that, Greed. Thank you. I'd also be curious to see the source of the idea. The word ego is used in 3 distinct ways I can think of. The Freudian, that's like I'm pretty sure like your brain. Psychoanalytic ego, a component of mind contrasted with the ID and the superego. Then you have the entire personality yourself. And then you have self-esteem and structures of personality related to an arrogant person having a big ego. I think it's safe to assume that a writer referencing God's ego death as the ego death generally will be using one of the first 2 meanings and probably the second. Alright. I remember seeing this on a conspiracy Iceberg. This is entirely my take on it. But I was tripping on acid when I was thinking about it, and I came up with about 2 explanations. This God is the Abrahamic God in particular, and is the reason it seemingly undergoes a change in character from the OT to the NT. What is OT to the NT? What does that mean, y'all? Is that it had an ego death. People in psychedelics usually report an ego death and loss of individuality and the sublimation into a greater self or collective consciousness. Old and New Testament. Alright, bet. Say less. What would be an ego death for an omnipotent being? I can't think it would be anything short of reversal of what it's like for humans, ceasing to be fully godly and assuming a fleshly form going from the whole individual. The second is batshit LSD inspiration. All in reality, a god is trying to understand what his OW self nature is. So it's basically like just saying that sometime in the Old to New Testament that God had an ego death. I'm back from eating. It was good, bro. It was good, bro. Everything that is attains being eternally. Everything that is not attains death, non-being hell. What is it saying, though? Are you suggesting that reality includes everything that is not? Nigga, what? Hold up, bro. God regressed from omnipotence. What's good, Jeezy? What's good, Jeezy? God's ego death. I think Jeezy is a Christian, right? You're Christian? Theories and explanations welcome. I can't seem to find anything relating to God's ego death through a bit of researching and asking, so I thought I might as well try here. I have a few theories on what that might mean, but I could possibly and utterly be incorrect. I murdered that headache? Yeah, yes, sir. Alright, his theory number 1. Ego death is typically described as a transcendent by those who experienced it. So what if we interpreted that as literal? Perhaps it's inferring to a god being an actual man who transcended his humanity, becoming a god in the process. What the fuck? Wait, what? So they're saying God's ego death might be referring to a regular nigga that transcended his ego and became God himself? Perhaps such a thing is possible because there are religions and worship that predate Abrahamic religions. There are mentions in the Bible that allude to there being other gods. Wait, there are? What the I didn't know there were mentions in the Bible saying that there was other gods. It's not outside the realm of reason to think either. From what I know of Buddhism, they tend to work towards a sort of ego death of their own. Using their perspective, the psychedelic ego death could be a temporary ego death, godly ascension sold separately. So nah, there are two ways to look at it. Ego death means three things, but the first two are the most prominent. What's good, Toki? What if it's just face value? God has or is going through an ego death. It's not the face value that's interesting to my ear, but the ripple effect of what would happen in response to this. Maybe our godly Savior has a change of perspective on how he should handle things. It is pretty evident that God changes pretty drastically throughout the Bible. He went from clapping an entire town's collective cheeks and killing some dude for pulling out to influencing the world mostly through other followers of his. Generally, it's more or less weird explanation of highlight how God has changed over time. And why didn't we see him straight nuking cities anymore? So we go from the God of the gaps, which basically explains all the gaps in scientific ideology and put God there. And now we're discussing why there's such a drastic difference from the Old Testament, where God was just killing anybody, to the New Testament, where God is like a redefined man. Yeah, God was brutal in the Old Testament. He was going crazy. Yeah, also, what the fuck? He's so hands off now. Yeah, exactly. He went from... So we can say there's three phases of God, right? Which can also be described as three different ego deaths. The first phase, God was destroying everything and only wanted there to be just solely Christians. And if you weren't, you were fucked up. The second phase, basically, he wanted to live through other people and have other people spread the word of his faith throughout the entire universe. And he also wasn't really as hands-on. I'm pretty sure we had, like, of course, I think Noah was a story of the New Testament. I'm pretty sure. Jonah was a story of the New Testament. I think those might also be Old Testament stories. But to now, completely spreading all his faith through other people and not really doing anything as like drastic as, drowning the entire world. Unless you want to call COVID one of those huge things. Interesting. Generally, it's more or less a weird explanation to highlight how God has changed over time. In the third explanation, if Adam and Eve ate more apples, they would become just as powerful as God. What the Alright, let's see what this meant. Wait, Apollo, it's not a part of this theory, but it's on God Check DMs. Alright, so this is another video we have.
You told us what you want.
Alright, I'll put this right here and look at it after. Jess said he gave us free choice. Now it's all about love. Yeah, exactly. It went from you will worship me to there's going to be repercussions if you don't worship me, but also you can kind of do what you want, to the final stage, or what might be the final stage, which is as long as you guys love each other, you guys can believe in what you want. The Moses story is about plagues and how he just killed many people just to make believe in Pharaoh, believe in God. Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. There's a lot of different phases. Of course, like I've heard of the drastic change between God in the Old Testament and God in the New Testament, but I also didn't like ever really like come to think about why the change was so drastic. I'm sure some atheists would just say it's just a story written by somebody. I wonder if this will be an explanation for theists or atheists. God's ego death as a whole. Like, would this be something that a religious person would say? Was like, oh yeah, well he kind of went through an ego death and then changed his view site as a deity, or would it be an atheist explanation? There are a lot of ways to think about this one. There are only two powerful trees in the Garden of Eden: the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. What if the latter tree was mislabeled by God himself? This is going to be a stupid question. A very stupid question. But when somebody says the latter thing, is that the first one or the last one? Like the tree of life and then the tree of good and evil, what would the latter be? I've never understood that. I've just always heard people say it. The last. So latter is always the last thing. Alright, bet. Appreciate that. Thank you. It's possible that God got his powers from engorging himself in the fruits found on this tree of knowledge. If Adam and Eve ate from this tree, it was called something like the tree of ascension. What was the last thing called? The black ascension? No stupid questions. Seeing knowledge is always a positive thing. Alright, bet. Say less. Say less. Thank you, Jez. It was called the Black Ascension, I'm pretty sure. Or some of the other very subtle name. They might be motivated to eat more until they become gods themselves. It makes sense given the context that God would just kick out Adam and Eve. He didn't want them to have a complete... He didn't want to have to compete with more gods. I've never heard that them eating more apples will make them more powerful. All I heard was that them eating the apple like opened their eyes to see the world as what it is and not what he wanted them to see. What's good, Alex? Yes, in the toilet. It's 6 o'clock. We are fucking... It's going fast as shit. Like we're already 5 hours down. He said, us becoming gods. God's last wish gonna go crazy. Why are these all kind of S tier a little bit so far? And could have even been afraid of them. Let me not jinx it. The reason I would think that this is plausible explanation is the strange abilities that we are said to have. Astral projection, telekinesis, etc., etc. So you saying an apple a day keeps the mortality away? 24-hour live stream? Yes, sir. You said, damn, it's been 4.5 hours? Yeah, it's been 5, bro. Or almost 5, yeah. And we're still, pushing through CDD. Damn. Bro, can I just text-to-speech this? No way text-to-speech isn't a thing yet, man. No way. I for sure just text-to-speech this whole fucking thing and let Siri talk to us. Hey, I saw this post earlier. You said, shit, what you trying to play later on? I got a whole list, but you can easily join like a crab game or something like that. We trying to go through a lot of stuff. Alright. Hey, I saw this post earlier, but didn't have the time to answer until now. I've been researching the 2018 version of this Iceberg on and off for a while. And now, from everything I've seen, predominantly on 4chan, you're most correct with the second interpretation. So it was the drastic change. I warned you. Do Christians view Adam and Eve as bad people? No, we just view them as people. Anybody that would have been put in the same situation probably would have done the same thing. It basically just teaches you that temptation can be strong in any situation. Even if God himself is saying don't do something, it is in our human transcript to not fuck up like Fia said, but to be tempted and have the possibility to fuck up. From my understanding, the term God's ego death is an alternative solution to Gnostism. What is Gnostism or Gnosticism? Gnosticism. To rectify some of the discrepancy between the retort used by WHWH or YHWH and the retort used by Christ. You've already pointed out some of the differences. But what I think an even larger point is the flooding by the entire world due to sin in the story of Noah. Especially considering the theory of biblical fan fiction or headcanon, or Allah, whatever the fuck that is. Some of the earlier concepts covered by Wendigoons, such as serpent seed. These niggas going crazy. Just curious people. I don't view them as bad people. The only thing I want to know is where is in the Bible did it say multiple religions like Catholic, Methodist, etc., etc. Last time I checked, the house of God was the house of God. So you're saying like you don't know where it's said in the Bible where people can have multiple religions. As displayed in text of the Gospel of Judas, Gnosticism is based on the early Christian idea of the demiurge. This is gonna be a lot of like biblical stuff. Alright, bet. Sorry for all the lengthy background, but an alternative to this theory is that at a certain point, the only God underwent the ego death. An ego death is essentially the death of an I and all of the selfishness. So if God wants to undergo an event like this, could possibly explain the... Oh, what the fuck? So, undergoing an ego death would make him become more loving, right? If in the Old Testament he was like a dictator, like Pan said, then undergoing an ego death would make him a nicer person in the end, because he doesn't like... He's not so selfish and narcissistic. And doesn't really care if everybody believes in him or not. Of course, he still cares about everybody in the end, but he's not like forcing it or else I'll kill you. Damn. God's unconditional love of us, regardless of any evil we may commit, certainly seems ego-deathy. So then the question is introduced. What caused it? Well, trauma has been well documented to cause the state of depersonalization or ego death. That's also a word that I meant, depersonalization. You said no, like why is there branches like Methodists, Catholics, etc.? Because people be like, oh, you're Catholic, why? I don't know, I always thought we all worship the God and His Son. So you're saying like why is there other branching off of Christianity if it never talked about that in the Bible? I think it's just like what people believe in, right? Like I think Catholics believe in Virgin Mary as the deity instead of God Himself. Or Jesus Himself. Because we're humans, people interpret the Bible differently. Yeah, exactly. It's like putting a philosophy out there. Not everybody's gonna look at that and read it and all interpret from the same thing. Like we're all raised different. We all have different minds. We're all gonna interpret that one thing differently. Religion's biggest weakness is people. You say, yeah, like nowhere in the Bible did it say have different houses. The branch off happened when Martin Luther did some shit. Yeah, Martin Luther apparently he post like 1,000 pages on the church or something like that. I forgot what the fuck he did. I haven't learned about it since like 7th grade. We didn't say fuck it. So we took the Bible and just said fuck it. Well, we took the Bible and then an argument happened. Imagine 3 people, right? 3 people read the Bible. One guy, which is the Christian, read it and was like, okay, so we have God, and we have the Son of God, which is Jesus, coming from the Virgin Mary, and that makes Jesus the deity. Well, another guy read it and was like, well, wouldn't the person producing Jesus be the God herself, which is the Virgin Mary, which I'm pretty sure is what Catholics believe in. Correct me if I'm wrong. The other guy, of course, being Judaism. I really don't... I don't want to mess up the things, but I know religion is a very touchy subject, but you guys know more than me about, I guess, Christianity and stuff. If you're that, then you know. You said, no, that's right. So what is it for Judaism? Virgin Mary is a big Catholicism, but not the focus. Yeah, so Virgin Mary isn't that big of a focus inside Christianity. Judaism believes that there's a God. Virgin Mary had Jesus, but Jesus wasn't even a God himself. It was just some random man. And they believe that the first coming is still to come. An example for this is the hate against homosexuality. I'm Catholic. We think that Mary had a major role in it. Okay. The Bible is abstract in that sense. She's important, yes, but some religions don't focus on her. So there's other branching offs of Catholicism too. This goes for belief, the whole belief. Judaism doesn't believe in heaven. Interesting. So what do they believe in exactly? So Judaism is Jews, I'm pretty sure, right? If I got it wrong, just correct me. No disrespect. Judaism is Jews, right? Or is Jews, being Jewish, a different religion? I was always in the belief that being Jewish meant you live by Judaism. But I could easily be wrong. Just correct me. No disrespect. This movie said, I don't know, nigga. So, like, Methodists believe that it is not our responsibility to enforce all these rules. It's our responsibility to love people and provide people with our resources to do their own research. Jewish is different. So what do Jewish believe in? And what's the difference between Judaism and being Jewish? But I don't care what you believe in. At the end of the day, we all brothers and sisters, and I love you all. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how I look at life. Just like to always just love everybody. But it doesn't have to do with the religion type thing. I feel like I was like just supposed to be like that because that's my personality. Like, even people that have wronged me, I still can't help but to like want to help them. You know, like the different people that have like, you know, accused me of certain things, left the server, whatever. Like, I still got nothing but love for them. You know, I wish them well throughout their life. They believe in the same... Hold on, let me read what else Sarah said. Jews don't believe in Jesus was Messiah. They believe, or they are still waiting for the Messiah. So I was writing saying that that's what Jewish people believe in. They believe in the same God, just as that Jesus was a prophet, not the Messiah. So they believe that Jesus was somebody that was supposed to just come down and spread God's word. It wasn't the actual Son of God. We're going off topic a bit, but just don't forget we still miss a possible reason for that ego death. Yeah, I just wanted to have a conversation. I know we still got this whole lengthy paragraph that I got to read with this COVID headache. Moving forward, it's important that you know that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I've heard of that, but I don't really know the story. I guess I'm about to revitalize the fucking story. Sodom and Gomorrah were two kingdoms in the ancient times whose sin was very grievous. Abraham pleads with God to have mercy and eventually compromises that God, if he puts 10 righteous people exist in the kingdoms, that the entire land will be spared. God ends up destroying the kingdom. Oh my God. Abraham was like, God, please, man. And God was like, no, sir. And then strike everybody down. Damn. God ends up destroying the kingdom with fire and brimstone after he sends 2 angels down to see how good or bad the kingdoms really are. And a group of men attempt to force themselves on the angels. What the fuck? Attempt to do what? You got the COVID headache too? Nah, it's just like I think it's just like I need to eat more headache. God is cold. Look at this nigga compliment him because of that. God don't care. And back then, he was just like, hey, bro, y'all believe in me? If not, good luck. He like the CDC right now. Eat, nigga. Yeah, well, let me finish this. 2 more paragraphs and we got this shit. I feel like this is just an advertisement for some fucking podcast. Dead Rabbit Radio explored the topic on one of his podcasts. Yeah, I'm sure. But some people believe that when angels visit Sodom and Gomorrah in the book of Genesis, that the citizens really did force themselves upon an angel. The event... So what does it mean by force themselves? Does it mean what I think it means? Like, did they do what I'm thinking to these angels? This event is supposedly hinted to in Genesis 19:5, I don't know, where the crowd outside of a man named Lot's house was demanding that they should be allowed to have sex with the 2 angels inside. Damn, what the fuck? So God sent 2 angels down to see if the world was bad, and they did that to them? I would have done the same thing. God was like, hey, angels, go down there, see if the world's really as bad as they say it is. I don't think it's that bad, but just go down there and see if it's bad, alright? They're like, alright, God, got you. They went down there and immediately got fucking destroyed. What the hell? That is crazy. But real talk, I gotta talk about it a little bit. God being a straight out bad guy in the OT is not looked at enough in school or casual settings that talked about religion. Everyone loves God because of the New Testament, but everyone just ignores his wrongdoings. Well, I acknowledge it. Fuck them angels, wild as fuck. What? He said fuck them angels? What the hell? Bro, that is not funny, bro. Look at y'all making jokes. Y'all going straight to hell, man. I agree to an extent, like he straight up endorsed slavery and said if women are R-worded, she should be killed. He said if women are R-worded, she should be killed? No, I was talking about the Prankum John. I was not talking about what pants. I was talking about this nigga Crib. Obviously, just that it's on its own is enough evidence to say that God himself was there. Another factor which suggests that God has 2 angels is how the crowd was dealt with. Before burning the 2 kingdoms to the ground, the angels turned into boisterous crowd demanding sex blind. Huh? Interestingly, while angels were brought up in the Bible over 100 times, this is the only instance of them having the power of the blinding. So they blinded everybody? However, another person is miraculously made blind in the Bible, Saul, who was persecuting Christians, had his vision stripped by Jesus in Acts 9:8. They were going, bro, imagine living in Bible times. They were just like Avengers, but like if you fuck me over, you out of here. That's crazy. Essentially, angels aren't typically shown to be able to blind people, but Jesus being God certainly has that power and has done it before. So Jesus was just like, Saul, you really about to do me like that, bro? Damn, that's crazy. Now you can't see. Yeah, look at you. That's wild to me. That's wild. That's fucking crazy, man. Like, bro, what? No, what? Like, are you serious? Wait, I was away for a second. What happened? Bible time isn't real. Just said no, sir. The interaction is further cemented with the widely held thought that angels lack free will and act as essentially avatars from which God can interact with our world. OutreachJudaism.org. Okay, so I basically understand the concept of this, right? God's ego death is basically the branch from the Old Testament to the New Testament. How did God go from this seemingly evil deity to where if you didn't believe him, then you would be struck down, to this all-loving God? And that branch would be that God had an ego death. Do I believe that? No, because I look at God as all-knowing and all-forgiving. But I do know there was a time where God was not all-forgiving. I can't explain that. I'm not going to use God's gap to explain that, because you can't explain that gap by just placing God inside of it. But I can say that I know that my God that I have now is all loving and all forgiving. I don't know what exactly was going on back then, but I don't live back then, so I don't really have an opinion on it. Beep boop, I'm a robot. Here's a copy of the Bible. What the fuck? Also, once again, why is there only one paragraph that talks about how angels look like? That they are the tires with the eyes, or the four-headed beast. It's literally just a short part. We could even read it quickly right now. Yeah, I know. If you guys don't know what angels like actually look like, they're scary niggas. They're for sure not just like these things with wings that we've been seeing our entire lives, like Cupid. Like, these niggas are for sure unfuck with the bull. 1000%. This right here, I think that's the most accurate description of it. Like a big circular thing with 6 wings and infinite eyes. Like, it's not this. It's for sure not this. Don't be scared, my child. It's more like these right here. This. I don't know where the I guess in the Bible it talked about wings, and then this was the description that we came up for to kind of like not make everybody scared. I've seen this picture like all throughout my life as a kid. I've seen this picture a lot. Like, any church I would go to would have this, but never of these. They fucked that? Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I guess when they were sent down like in human form, maybe. Like, maybe they were sent down in this form, and then the people then proceeded to, take advantage of them or whatever. I don't know.